Hey everybody, welcome to Workshop Wednesday. This is the fourth week. The date is the 11th of May 2022. Um, Everything is sort of going as expected, except for the fact that I haven't recorded the acoustic yet. The only thing that I've recorded is basically a dummy track, to follow the process of Icy Fire and the percussion section. So I did, as I said before, what I've decided is I'm actually going to do the recording bit on maybe a Saturday or two, just to catch up with that. That won't be on video. I think it's just good to look at the practicing side of it, and maybe do a small story, about me, or I guess a lifelong lesson if anybody cares to worry about it. As you can see, if you didn't notice, shame on you, but I did shave a little bit, not too much, because I like the whole look. If you don't like the whole look, let me know, and then maybe for the last video, I'll take it all off, and then you can see how I look. A little bit more silver than I would like to be. Yeah, believe it or not, I used to have, dark brown hair, but then, experience gets in the way. We will be looking at two different things. First of all, we're going to be looking at the bass side of Icy Fire to get some low end going. And then after that, we're going to be looking at the electric guitar bit. Now, in the first week, we spoke a little bit about the anatomy and what I was thinking of doing. And one of the things that I established straight away is that I can't do it the same way as Ed Sheeran does. So what's going to happen is, what we did look at was we took a look at the different parts and what I was thinking of doing. And the one thing that I can definitely not do is play the violin or the cello. So the violin, the cello will have to have a substitute. Now the violin side will be the electric guitar, like a more of a jazzy type tone to it. That's my idea of what I want to do. And then when it comes to the bass, I'll probably use either the acoustic bass or the fretless bass. Now, if nobody knows what a fretless bass looks like, what I'll do is I'll show you what it looks like in due course. So what we'll start with is we will start with the electric bit. There is some setting up that I want to do for that. It's not just the electric. For those of you who don't know what the difference between an electric guitar and an acoustic guitar is, the basic difference is that an electric guitar has no chamber. It doesn't have a hollow body in the sense of making a lot of sound. So with an electric, you sort of need to use an amplifier, which I do have. When I record it, I'm not going to use the amplifier though. I'm going to be using a different effects processor probably. But I might change that. I might decide to use it, for the case of recording something very noobish. I don't want to make it as, too expensive for everyone. So if anybody gets some ideas of actually recording, then they don't have to have so much stuff that they need to lug around for recording. Then after that, we will look at the bass part. I think the bass part will be the easiest part of all of this. So I want to focus on that last, because then it'll be quick sticks. But yeah, look, we will also be talking about other things that I thought would be quite pertinent to speak about, such as experience being the greatest teacher. Everything that we do has a story, and everything that we do molds us into the person that we are. So as I'm going through this stuff, I'm probably going to think of stories that will incite me to speak about a few things. So I hope you guys enjoy that part, but if you don't, you can always just skip to the next week, just so that you know that is the whole gist of tonight, is the setup, playing the trying to work out the violin part for that. I have sort of an idea of what I want to do. and we will go through that as the evening progresses. So I hope you enjoy this part and you get some ideas on what you want to do if you want to do something similar to this. So with that being said, let's go for it. Okay, so when it comes to the effects that I want to use and the process that I want to go through when it comes to the electric, I was thinking of using this multi-effects pedal over here called the Boss ME70. This is technically the second electric effects pedal that I bought for myself. The other one that I had before that was a Zoom 105 or some kind of cheapo over there. So what we're going to use is this one. This one is pretty decent for the job that I want to do with it. Now there are two ways that I'm going to use this effects pedal. The first way could either be using the compressor, and if we take a close look over here, you'll see that there's an effect over there called slow gear. Now what happens over there is it takes off the attack on the beginning part when I play, almost like it makes sort of like a swell that I want to use for that to have more of a ambient type of effect, along with adding some delay on there, which should be good. Second way that I can also use it is using the wah pedal. Now the wah pedal also doubles as a volume pedal. So what will happen is that as I'm playing, I'll roll the volume off, and as I'm playing, I swell the volume up, giving it the same sort of effect as slow gear. The reason why I'm gonna choose between the two and not just go straight for the slow gear is because the slow gear tends to have a very strange attack to it, which can sometimes be uncontrollable. So we'll take a look at that and work on it. So I think what I'll do then is this coming Saturday when I record, I'll set up the effects properly, and then perhaps I'll do a small tutorial on multi-effects pedals and all of that. Otherwise, I would use the volume pedal on this multi-effects processor. Tonight I'm not going to use it because I just want to make it as easy as I can for a tutorial such as this. So just thought I'd give you an idea of what kind of processor that I'm going to be going through. Once again, if you don't know what it's called a Boss ME70 Guitar Multiple Effects. Right, so the amp that I want to go through for my electric is this baby right here. It's called the Vox Valvetronics 40 VT or VT40 Plus. This is actually the first electric guitar amp that I got. The one underneath is what I used to play my electric through, which is more of an acoustic amp than anything else for acoustic guitar. So I'm going to be using this baby over here. At the back, you'll see all the dials over here. Okay, I'm trying to not put my shadow over it so you can see these different dials. They all have a specific purpose, and then what I'll probably do as well is do a little bit of a tutorial on how to dial in your amp, which I'm going to have to dial in tonight in order to show you or to let you hear what I'm thinking of doing with regards to the violin bit of the song. So we'll take it from there. Right, then last but not least, the darling and the main instrument of destruction when it comes to this bit is the darling of the collection, the Gibson Les Paul Studio Edition. Now, if any of you know what if anybody out there knows what it means when someone says Gibson, a lot of people will understand that we're talking about or supposed boutique of the electric range. And if you don't know, consider Gibson Les Paul as sort of like the Ferrari of the electric guitar world. Um, also has their issues, like Ferrari. You can see it's also quite red, but it's supposed to scream quality, and in a sense, it does. I mean, the quality of the sound that you get out of this baby is immaculate. It's like playing with, like melting butter on toast. For me, that's how it sounds. But um, for everything there is a drawback, and this one, struggles to stay in tune. But that's fine. That's not what we're going to look for this one. This will be the instrument of choice when it comes to the violin bit. So when it comes to this part, I'm going to try and keep it simple. Now, when I say simple, we're not even going to be playing chords, but we're going to be playing something one up to just, one note lead bits. And that would be something called double stops. Now, for those of you who don't know what double stops are, it's basically just playing two notes parallel to each other, or two notes at the same time. So when I mean that, I would play, for example, the root notes over here, and then look for the third in the second octave of that key, and it would sound like this. So you can hear that it is A. It would be the octave of the C sharp over here. So it sounds like this, and it's nice because if you're only looking at playing that, you can actually, get through a lot of things. Like a lot of, teams like worship teams would actually just play double stops when it comes to electric. So, for example, Oceans by Hillsong United. I will call upon your name and keep my eyes above the waves. So the idea for the violin part is to do something very simple and similar to that, where I'm just playing double stops, like oopsie. Now the key behind doing the double stops is to know where your thirds are, especially in this one. So for for Icy Fire, there are a few chords that we play, such as there's the G sharp minor, then there's the B major, and there's E major. Now if you take a look over here, I'm basically playing just this note over here with the root note there, or I can play it up here. It all depends on where I want to go with this. Now with the acoustic guitar, it is quite a high range, so I might not want to play up here, but I might. I'll have to think about it. So we have G sharp minor, B major, F sharp major, which is this one over here, E major, or E major over here. Now when it comes to the C sharp minor, I'm either going to play the C sharp minor over here, or I'm going to play the C sharp minor over here. I might, to make it easier for myself, I might just only use these two fingers over here, so it'll be and then we have this note over here, which I want to actually play. So I might want to detune that down to maybe something that's a bit more palatable. Maybe tune it up to maybe a D sharp, or something within the key of B, which is the key that I want to play Icy Fire in. So when it comes to this part over here, it's just doing this nice and simple like. Now this is where it will go into the I think it will be more of the third verse that this starts playing, because we want to build up dynamics for the song. So, and in fire, we can all burn together, raising glass of wine. Oh, well, down, going hollow. And I see fire. And then we'll take it from there. All right, so that's the idea. Now, when it comes to the effects part, as I said, with a multi-effects processor, it's going to do more of a volume swell. I'm going to try and do it on the electric. It's not going to sound as hectic, but I just want to give you an idea of what I was thinking of doing. Okay, so it would be sounding like this. You see, it doesn't sound as well. Okay, so no, it's not going to sound as well, but you get the idea, and it's going to slow gear up, and it's going to make it sound more ethereal, like wah, 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 wah. So it's going to sound quite cool. Then the other part where it comes in, I'm going to have to work on. Almost like a lead bit. I was thinking more of a. So it will be. And maybe. So we want to get some kind of jazzy type of feel coming from that. Some mountainside, destination calls upon the sky, and I see fire burn on the mountain. I see fire. So there's going to be a nice little feel to it. I know I'm digressing a little bit. So that's the idea. So a little bit of practicing will have to go into that part, but it's easy enough for me to actually play this. So when it comes to preparation, it doesn't need a time lapse. What I've just shown you now is the button. What I'm showing you basically is the just behind what I was thinking of doing for Icy Fire. So now the next part that we're going to look at is more of an idea of the bass bit. So we will get to that right now. See you now. 2, 1. Okay, so looking at the fretless and trying to plug it in has given me an indication that the fretless is in hectic need of a service, because it is buzzing like 300 Bs, and I'm not very too keen on the B thing. So that means that we're going to be using the acoustic bass for this part. So you can see that the biggest difference between your standard electric bass and the acoustic bass is what we have over here. It looks like an acoustic guitar, but you can see that the strings are a lot thicker. Now, when it comes to the um, bass line of this, I'm going to keep it very, very similar to what I can hear with the cello. So it's going to go. I don't know if I can show you from here. There we go. So the whole premise is going to be almost like a the minor walk line going up. So it'll go. Let's see if I can get it over. Yeah. So it'll be G sharp, A, F sharp, G sharp, G sharp, E, F sharp, C sharp, E, D, D. So when we get to the you know where we're doing the violin part, which is the electric actually, and the low end part will be dun, 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 and I see. I see fire. Whoopsie. So, also something that I need to, focus on. But the biggest part is to get the right sound out of an acoustic bass. Now, as with an acoustic guitar, it depends on where you play on the instrument that'll give you a nice sound. Now, I'm going to prove that by referring to the right hand. Now, depending on where the hand is being placed on the acoustic bass will determine the quality of sound that comes out. So, for example, if I want a nice thin sound, I would play right up here. So it's quite thin. Nice thing about it is you can play some quick runs. Things like that. Ideally, when you first start to play bass or anything like that, is usually in this midpoint area where the electric bass has the one pickup over here where you can put your thumb and play. You can imagine that the middle pickup is around over here. Now for this recording, I'm actually going to play quite far up the fretboard. Now the reason why I want to do that is to get a more low, beefier tone coming out of it. So you can hear that, it's, I think if we do A, it'll come out a little bit easier. Very thin, midpoints, but then when it comes to here, you can hear that it's almost like a octavey type of sound, which is more of what I'm looking for, and more of an upright bass type look. So it'll be. Now, bear in mind that this is going to be the acoustic part of the song. When it comes to the hard rock part, it's going to sound very different. So this is what I'm going to be using for this part. And as I showed you, there was the little bit over there. So these are the two instruments that I'm going to really go through. Not much practicing to go for this one because, as I said, the more difficult part was the acoustic guitar. Which hopefully I've now, got under my belt and all of that, so to speak. So so this part is basically the easier part. So now, hopefully on Saturday, when I record all three of these, it's going to be nice and easy. Because then after that, we will look at the vocal part of this whole endeavor. So just thought I'd give you an idea of what I'm thinking of happening and all of that. So I definitely hope that it gives you some ideas of what you want to do for whatever you want to do in your side over there. Okay, with that being said, let's continue on. Right. So that was the basic breakdown of what I want to do for these recordings. So it's rather a shorter episode um, of week 4, because like I said, this part is the easier part, and I thought after last week and all the shenanigans that I had to in put up with regards to practicing that infernal lick, I thought I would make it easier for myself to just to work this part over here, make it easier for myself. So just to recap of what I'm going to do now and on Saturday is I'm going to do the recording part. So I might if if I can get the recording sorted out nicely, is maybe I can even give a sample of what entails doing the recording part. But then it's going to be a Saturday thing, so I might want to keep that separate to the whole thing as a sort of an offshoot, as in this is what I do, when I'm thinking about, the actual recording process in essence, like, inputs and type of EQs that I'm looking for. But that's not what this is about. Tonight was basically telling you what the next part is, on the practicing schedule, and that will be organizing the violin. But like I said, it was easy because it's stuff that I've usually done in the past, such as double stops and bass lines. Um, More of a background story of mine. I first started playing an instrument in no, not even 2000. I'm showing my age. Actually, no, it was 2000. I started playing my first instrument 2000. So I'm a 22-year-old when it comes to the the musician side of it, which is quite hectic. I think I'm getting old now. Yeah. So I started out as a bassist, and I think that was the best way for me to start, was playing bass, because it's one note at a time, and you get two kinds of bassists. You get the bass players and you get the bass players. Now what that means is that the bass players, it's easy for them to slot in with a band, after a few months, because they have the basics. They play the root notes, which is, the one note that rings out supreme. And then you get the bassists, which is those that will take fifths and thirds and put everything over there, which I wanted to do. And then years later, I think it was 2007, 2008, I started, doodling on the acoustic. More 2006 starting, like bare starting, because I wanted to help my friend out with gigging at places like Mike's Kitchen. So that was good enough experience in itself. But then after that, I decided that guitar was going to be the second instrument that I wanted to really knuckle down and play, which was great for me because and easier for me because I started out on the bass, and then it moved on to drums, and then so on and so forth. So it's been a story and a process. As I said in the first week, it was a progress. Like, the equipment that I bought, it all everything started back when I was in high school, which was 2000. I was in grade 11, where I told myself that music was going to be something that I wanted to do. So it has been a long process, a long story of experience. And the one thing that I want to convey tonight is that experience is the great teacher. But not only that, it's the experience that molds the story that you tell. And everyone has a story. Everyone has a background. Some stories are great. Some are not as great. Some are half and half, depending on where you find yourself. I would like to think that my one's more half and half, because every experience that I have gained has made me the person that I am today. Every victory that I got made me to the person I am today. All these experiences has made me to the person that I am today. So I don't know what your story has come to, and where it has brought you, but I just want to say that you should not regret any part of your story. Um, it either, it depends on how you look at it. Like for me, um, it's taught me to bring out the best in other people because of the experiences I had, that I had to, most of the time, had to go through it myself, feeling like, no one was there for me and all of that. And it may not have been true, but it's the feeling that you have. But I think next week we'll speak about that. I think the biggest thing that I would like to speak about next week would be the story of the battlefield of the heart and the prison of the mind, which, if you don't know how to live in those instances, it can either make you or break you. So, if you really want to know a little bit more about me with regards to that and get some interesting stories, then, tune in next week. You might learn something new about me. But the big thing about tonight is, or this week, is to say that everybody has a story. Wherever you find yourself, the person that you are today is, all the actions that you have are currently doing is based on the experience. So I pray that it's been a good experience for you. But for those who haven't had that experience, I can honestly tell you that I sort of understand that part. Um, but it's quite interesting as well how stories, that other people help with the story as well. As I said, there was the outside external influence of getting slaughtered, um, not literally, but emotionally because of that. Um, it led me to other friends that taught me the value of friendship and the value of being, you know, overbearingly blunt sometimes. So I hope that is an encouragement to you guys. And look, if you know me and you interact with me in the real world, and you want to share your story with me, please do. But if you want to share your story in the comment section, go for that as well. That would be quite cool to hear your story, and sharing your victories, but then also triumph through your pains as well. So, with that being said, I just want to thank you once again, to all of those that have been watching uh, this journey, and the comments that I've been getting is quite interesting. Not necessarily on YouTube, but in real life land. Thank you for that. It's been an encouragement. Even if it's just one or two people that watch it or are interested, it is not more than I expect, but it brings a smile to my dial when I hear that you guys are watching. So I appreciate you all. So next week will be the hectic one, where we're going to be working out the harmony line and the melody line for I See Fire. Uh, Harmonies is going to be interesting. I wish I could put the third part harmony in this. That'll be the tough one. But as I said, we'll work on it. I know of the first part of the harmony, which is definitely something that I want to work on. And so that's going to be the interesting part. And hopefully I'll be able to show you the idea of what I'm thinking for that. And then maybe if the recording has come out nicely, I'll give you a small snippet of what the instrumental will sound like for the acoustic part. So with regards to tonight, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next week. So take care.